What if I told you that chasing someone, whether it's love, friendship, or even success, actually pushes it further away? What if the moment you stopped chasing, everything changed? There's something deeply psychological, even philosophical, about why people run when they're pursued and why they return when you let go. The psychology of chasing and avoidance. Let's dissect the toxic game you didn't realize you were playing. Why do we chase people who treat us like options? Why does their indifference feel like a drug? Science says it's not love, it's a glitch in your brain. The scarcity effect. Your brain is wired like a bidding war. Imagine two identical pairs of sneakers. One's on a shelf. The other, last pair, sold out forever. Suddenly, the rare pair feels 10x more valuable. That's your crush when they pull away. But here's the kicker. They're not rare. You've just been hypnotized by their unavailability. And here's where it gets twisted. Psychological reactance. When you chase, they feel their freedoms threatened, so they rebel. Like a teenager slamming doors because you said clean your room. The harder you push, the more they need to escape. Ever notice how they flirt with others the second you show interest? That's not coincidence. That's science. Now let's talk addiction. Chasing someone activates the same dopamine pathways as gambling. A study in Nature Neuroscience found that unpredictable rewards, like sporadic texts from someone hot and cold, light up your brain like a Vegas slot machine. You're not bonding, you're playing emotional roulette, and the house always wins. Here's the brutal math. Every text you send when they're lukewarm, every I miss you they ignore, you're devaluing yourself. The psychological phenomenon of effort justification says people value what they earn. By chasing, you're handing them a Rolex for free, and they'll treat it like a dollar store watch. And this is where the law of diminishing returns guts you. You think doubling down will finally win them. But in reality, you're teaching them your attention has no cost. Behavioral economists call this loss aversion. People fear losing what they worked for. But if you're doing all the work, they've got nothing to lose. So here's your wake-up call. The moment you stop chasing, you shatter their illusion of control. Silence isn't just power. It's a mirror forcing them to see what they took for granted. And that is when the real game begins. What happens when you stop chasing? Let's expose what happens inside their brain when you finally walk away. 1. The reversal effect. The second you stop, the script flips. You're no longer the hunter. You're the ghost they can't pin down. Psychological displacement kicks in hard. That void you left, it's not empty. It's echoing with questions. Why did they stop? Was I wrong about them? Think of it like this. If Netflix suddenly removed your favorite show, you'd binge it harder, right? Your absence becomes their obsession. And here's the kicker. You're not even trying. You're just living. Meanwhile, their brain's stuck on loop, trying to solve the puzzle of your silence. 2. The dopamine withdrawal in their brain. Let's get biochemical. If they were used to your texts, your likes, your attention, that was their dopamine drip. You were their dealer. Then poof, you quit. Now their brain's in withdrawal. Their brain expected your validation, and when it doesn't come, panic. Dopamine receptors fire harder during unexpected silence versus constant attention. Translation: your absence makes their brain scream louder than your presence ever did. That's why exes crawl back at 2 a.m. It's not love, it's neurochemical starvation. And you're no longer the meal. 3. The Zeigarnik effect, the cliffhanger that haunts them. Ever binge a show that ends on a cliffhanger? That itch to know more? That's the Zeigarnik effect, and you just weaponized it. Our brains obsess over unresolved stories. By walking away, you've turned yourself into their unfinished business. Every memory you made, every inside joke, now it's a broken record in their head. Studies show it takes significantly less mental effort to recall incomplete tasks versus completed ones. So while you're out thriving, they're mentally rewriting your story, and you're the protagonist who got away. Here's the brutal truth. When you stop chasing, you don't lose them. You force them to finally see you. And by then, you'll be too far gone to care. Philosophical insights on attraction and detachment. Friedrich Nietzsche, one of the most influential philosophers of all time, had a stark and almost brutal view of love. To him, love wasn't just about emotions. It was about power. He believed that relationships, like life itself, were a constant struggle for dominance. And in this struggle, the person who desires less always has the upper hand. Love is a battle for control. Nietzsche's philosophy revolves around the will to power, the fundamental drive of human beings to assert control, shape their reality, and dominate in various aspects of life, including love. He saw relationships as a microcosm of this greater struggle. In any relationship, there's usually one person who wants more, who texts first, who makes plans, who fears losing the other, and then there's the one who is less invested, who responds when convenient, who is affectionate but never fully dependent. According to Nietzsche, the less dependent person always dictates the terms of the relationship. Why? Because power in relationships is not about who loves more, it's about who needs less. Neediness as a form of weakness. Nietzsche was deeply critical of dependency. He believed that needing someone too much is a sign of personal weakness. The moment you place someone above yourself, making them your source of happiness, security, or validation, you have already surrendered control. And when you surrender control, you become vulnerable. You become anxious about their actions, worried about their replies, concerned about whether they'll stay. And in doing so, you lose something essential, your own sense of self. But the person who does not need the relationship to feel complete, they remain independent, strong, and ultimately in control. This is why Nietzsche viewed excessive attachment as a form of self-sabotage. The more you chase, the more power you give away. How to stop chasing. Stopping the chase doesn't mean burning bridges. It means building a fortress of self-respect so unshakable, they start questioning why they ever took you for granted. Let's break it down. Step 1, shift your focus to you, the magnetic move. Stop orbiting their world. Become the sun. Invest in hobbies that light you up, cooking, coding, salsa, whatever. Why? 2 reasons. Psychology 101. People crave those who glow, not cling. You'll stop caring if they text back because you're too busy living. When they ask, why are you so distant? Smile and say, I'm not distant, I'm just busy. Watch their ego short circuit. Step 2, master the art of non-reaction, the ultimate flex. They post a thirst trap, no likes. They text a breadcrumb, reply slow and bland. Your silence isn't petty, it's power. The less you react, the more their brain races. Do they hate me? Are they over me? Why don't they care? Step 3, build emotional armor. Rejection redirection. Stop seeing rejection as a tragedy. It's the universe saying, better things ahead. If they don't value you, they're not a villain, they're a lesson. And lessons make you bulletproof. Now tell me, have you ever experienced this shift? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you found this insightful, don't forget to subscribe.